I believe that there is still a big opportunity here in general in the nutricosmetic industry, because sometimes I think we get a little bit of this idea that like the market is super saturated. There's so many brands and like so many people doing this and like selling this kind of products. But I was thinking the other day, and I really realized like we just live in a bubble. Hello and welcome to the first episode of Nutricosmetics 2030 show. I'm Matic Batagel, your host. I'm the marketing advisor at Tosla, and I'm here with
Uroš Gotar, Chief Innovation Officer at Tosla Nutricosmetics. Good to be here.
Yeah, how do you feel?
I feel excited about today's first episode. I wonder where it will take us.
I have a couple of questions, like
Okay.
a little bit of a topic in mind. But before we start, maybe I have to say, like, I'm also super excited that I got you on this podcast to be my co-host. Like, I really look forward to all the good conversations that we're going to have, that we actually already have, but like we decided, like, let's just put them on camera. Let's try to share it with others. So should we just get right in and just record the first episode?
Why not? Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to look at my notes a little bit because, of
Okay.
course, like I cannot have everything in mind. But so I have a little bit of a topic for today. And I thought usually this is like a topic that you talk at the end of the year, but we're close enough to the end of the year. Right. So I think it would be good to discuss this. So basically, what were some like big learnings that you had this year, or like some facts about, I don't know, whatever, the industry, the products, some opinions that you might have changed. So I'm really interested to know what you had. I have a couple too. So we will be able to discuss a little bit, I guess. But I'll let you go first.
I learned this year that size does not always matter when it comes to specifications of collagen. For instance, sometimes brands would have a very high concentration of collagen in their products. And we learned that this is not necessary for your business to be successful or for your product to be effective. Because we did a clinical study, which was one of the most comprehensive clinical studies that was done on collagen. That was, I was told. And we compared three products against placebo. Two of them had 10 grams of collagen per daily dosage. One of them had 5 grams. And what we've learned is that indeed, when you start taking the supplement, you get to results faster.
With the 10 grams, right?
With the 10 grams, yeah. So your skin dermis thickens, your skin is more hydrated, you get less wrinkles, all of that. But after 2 months of use, this curvature flattens. So it really doesn't matter after that time whether your daily amount is 5 grams or 10 grams.
So like over time, it basically doesn't make a difference. Let's say only if you would want your skin be smoother, like faster. For instance, like you have like, I don't know, a wedding in 6 weeks, you would like
Exactly.
go and like take the 10 grams one. But
exactly.
Like overall, the formulations are like of the same effect, just like over time. It like if you take it long enough, it's gonna like do the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah, you have this loading phase, and then it makes sense to just maintain your routine. But even if you start with 5 grams, it's okay, right?
Yeah.
Unless you have a wedding in
you
6 weeks.
Need to look amazing.
Yeah.
But this like gets me to like I already have like a couple of questions, because basically if you want to go for a higher concentration, of course, me as a marketing guy, I would say like get a higher concentration to differentiate your product. But basically this is yeah, this is kind of like the only thing, because this product would probably also be more expensive.
Of course.
So yeah, it's differentiated, but like then you have a problem like on the price,
Mm,
on the market. Like maybe people will like not want to pay that price, and you as a brand, if you like try to lower the price, you hurt your margins and everything. So
yeah.
what would you like suggest here?
It's not just about the price, but indeed that's also a huge factor because collagen, when it comes to our products, affects the final price, the cost of goods sold, let's say, the most.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you use 10 grams per daily dose instead of 5 grams, it will increase the cost of the product by a lot. It's not just that, it's like also the taste is very affected. If I have 5 grams in a convenient format like a spoon, it's it's doable to mask the taste. But if I have 10 grams, then I would need to formulate the product in a way that these 10 grams would fit in like, like 1 deciliter of water. So
And
you
that's already like not goes in line with this idea of having like something very simple, something very tasty.
exactly.
Yeah.
And we see it all the time, funny enough, like customers come to our company asking about ridiculous concentrations of collagen to put in their product, and I think that the optimal amount is 5 grams. And even if you're looking at it from purely marketing perspective, if somebody has 10 grams of collagen and then you want to compete against them, obviously you formulate your product to be 11 grams, then somebody else come with 12 grams. It's a never-ending story, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah. You do 10, yeah, someone will come with 11. And I, as a marketer, I understand this, because what I learned, like one of the things that I learned this year, is for sure that brands are basically competing on marketing here, and they are trying to differentiate their products. And I guess the concentration is the easiest.
yeah, yeah.
Although, basically, as you said, like someone will always come with a higher concentration. Okay, it will hurt the taste, it will hurt the price, but I believe that maybe these differentiators should come from something else, not the concentration. But in the end, of course, this is a problem, because a lot of brands, like not only collagen, like in general in Nutricosmetics, most often they offer very similar things. So the products is quite similar. The price is quite similar. So basically, yeah, they just try to like compete on marketing. Basically, who spends more on, I don't know, meta ads or whatever is gonna win in the market. But like, let's not talk like what this does to profitability and everything. But then as I was realizing that, like I was really thinking about this kind of thing. What could we do as Tosla, as the manufacturer, to help those brands? Because um, basically, if they compete only on marketing, basically, for me, it's like two questions. Like, could we help them do better marketing, which we are not like big experts in? Like
Correct. Yeah.
B2C marketing is not our strong suit.
Yeah.
That's why like we stay kind of like in
Yeah.
the back,
Yeah.
like developing and like manufacturing. But the other one is like, how could we help them not to compete on marketing so much anymore?
Yeah. Well,
But this is like a pretty tough one, right?
well, I will stay into the brackets of MPD function. I'm a technological guy, so I will dare not go into that, marketing as generally understood. So from speaking from product perspective, what we can do to help our clients, the brands, we are doing clinical studies, so we prove the efficacy. I explained earlier how the product works a little bit. We do sensory study because we have various masking technology, proprietary technology. So we also have this proof that our product is superior in taste. The third thing is we have a very convenient, easy to use product. So I think this is enough for brand to be successful on the market. But often the brands are trying to approach the marketing in a wrong way. Like they are trying to describe the product very technically. Like we have 5,000 milligrams of hydrolyzed bovine collagen or fish collagen, whatever. We have 80 milligrams of vitamin C, la 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 la. This is very boring. Maybe not to me, but I'm a NPD guy. So when I see brands that are selling collagen and are very successful, they're never talking about specs.
So again, like specs don't matter so much.
Exactly. Yeah. They have this cool vibe. They represent something, but when you look at products, they are not describing it in very much detail. So again, I'm not a marketing guy. I don't know how to achieve that. This is where my competence ends, so I cannot help on that part. But again, I saw a lot of brands that were trying to describe products with specs, and somebody else came and said, we have 10 grams and you have only 9 grams, and they lost the battle.
Yeah, it's like the same thing as with competing with price. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Like there will always be someone with a higher concentration or or someone with a lower price. So here, this is, for me, it's really still this question how we could help on that. And as you said, like what we can do is to really make the products that kind of will sell themselves, will basically be good enough that people are coming back a lot, and that will actually like then lower your marketing costs a lot
exactly.
with like higher retention rates, lifetime values goes up and something like that. I know we were talking a lot about this in the company, actually like building this philosophy around it. Maybe that this is a topic for another episode. But yeah, it's really because this is me who basically has to think how to explain our our things, our products, like to basically get the brands on board and stuff. It's really like a question that I think we will debate like throughout this podcast a lot.
Yeah. Which reminds me, you told me one day that it's much cheaper to retain your customer than to acquire a new one, which makes sense. But if you have a good product that is attractive and easy to use, then this customer retention rate is really high. This is what we see in the market. So
yeah. And because I was like looking one day, I was looking a little bit into the data that we have on our disposal. It's actually like the retention rates are actually higher on the products with like lower specs.
Yeah.
Basically, I suspect it's because they taste better, but we have to get into that, because it's in the end it's around like it's about this like really holistic approach. I think on the with the products, so it's not only at 10 grams will like or 15 20 grams per like 20 mil, like it's not gonna do anything basically. And it's the same as like when you go to the technology, I don't know, like this computer probably is not like the best specs in the market, but because it's designed to really work as a system, as a whole, it works great. And I guess it's the same with the.
It's the same with collagen, I would say. For example, I know for a fact that in the States you have two brands. One of them is selling powder collagen. Basically, 100% of the ingredient is collagen. And they claim the daily dose to be 20 grams, which is like a lot. The second brand has a liquid product ready to drink, 5 grams of collagen. And the latter one is more successful. So there's direct proof, like 5 grams is apparently better option. But of course, it's not all
better
about
option
specs.
for the long term, probably, right?
Yeah.
Because I tried the raw collagen and stuff, like really doesn't taste very good.
Yeah.
And imagining like getting like 20 grams in every morning, that's not a very pleasant thing to do. And I probably would, just for the wedding or something like that, I would do that. But even
course.
for that, like, I don't know, I would go for makeup maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. There's also another thing that comes to mind, and the simplicity of the liquid product. If it's tasty, it's really high. So you just take your daily shot in the morning, you drink it, that's it. Whereas in powder, you have to mix it, you get lumps. Plus, like you said, it tastes pretty awful. Yeah. So I think that one advantage that is very strong, and it's often overlooked by the brands, is this simple part, because human beings are lazy creatures, and after a week we all get bored with this mixing. First you are excited, but then it's like, no.
Yeah, you don't want to do it. Like, it's really I know when I was like taking some supplements and stuff, it's really the path of least resistance. You try,
of course.
Like, once I remember I was taking, I don't really remember what I was taking, but it was in a powder form, and I just took it because my nutritionist said you have to take it because the test showed you lack it or whatever. I don't remember. First it was in powder form, and second it tasted like quite awful. But I was still taking it because I had this hope, like, I'm going to be like super strong or whatever. But then when I ran out, like, my first question was like, could I get this in another format? Can I like get a pill? And then I got a pill, and it was like way easier because, like, first of all, it's this hassle of mixing, and then like second, it's like just having, and it was like in 3 deciliters of water that you have to mix it. So
crazy.
Drinking like 3 deciliters of like something not very good tasting was not a very good experience.
I cannot do that in the morning. I drink 1 deciliter of water, then I have coffee 1 hour after. I could not drink 3 deciliters of something that also tastes awful.
I mean, it has to be quite a big promise, that you're going to be strong or beautiful or something. I don't really remember what it was. Didn't do much, I guess. But
So you stopped, I guess.
No, now I'm taking it in the pills. So maybe at Tosla we could like produce something like that. I now remember. I think it is like a potassium citrate or something. Yeah, like the mineral.
Yeah.
But so next product, potassium in liquid form. I think it would be great.
Potassium in liquid form, it could work. So
I guess.
But let's stop with capsules for a minute, because I have personally nothing against capsules. I take capsules like omega-3s, magnesium, some antioxidants and stuff like that. But if you want to take collagen capsule or tablet, it's really not your go-to format, because
probably the like, I think I know the answer, but like it's like the size still matters a little bit, right? So
it matters in this case, yes, because in order to be able to fit an effective dosage in capsules, you would have to eat like 10-20 capsules a day,
which is not a good option anymore.
Yeah. You lose this conveniency that we were speaking about earlier with liquids, right?
So if I do a little bit of the recap of this first learning, is like something like the size doesn't matter, but actually does in the end.
Yes, that's the conclusion of this
the conclusion. No,
episode.
it's like it has to be, I guess, this kind of like sweet spot that you need. And yeah, like here playing with different formats and stuff, not to sound like too like, because we at Tosla we only do liquids, but like it's really, when you look at holistically, it's probably still the best format for at least collagen, right?
I think so. If you want to build a successful company, I think taste is important, convenience is important, efficacy is important. So in this ready-to-drink format that we do, you cover all of that. Yeah. We have customers that are coming and asking for 20 grams, and I always say, okay, look for a powder manufacturer, after trying to convince, of course, the benefits of liquids. But
yeah. I mean, me as a marketing guy, I would understand all those, as I said, like higher spec will sell more, but in the end, we learned that like that's not actually the case.
If you spend 5 minutes with your market research, that would be your obvious conclusion. Like, okay.
So there are other things. So yeah, as I also said before, that like brands are mostly competing on marketing. Let's say that like the specs are not the best thing to put on the top of your marketing mix. That's for sure. So let me rephrase my and connect the two learnings. I think so basically size, like you changed this opinion probably, like I remember when we were talking developing products at Tosla, like okay, let's do a higher spec everything, but now like I guess we are going back to okay, we need the sweet spot, not to like try to like sell this idea of bigger is better.
Yeah, it didn't actually come to me as a stroke of lightning. I had this hunch for the past few, maybe even years, because I was always coming into obstacles, like with, okay, your product is too pricey, your product doesn't taste that good, so even to cover these aspects, I had to not go beyond 5 grams. And I was really happy to see that clinical study proved that 5 grams is really an effective dosage, which should be enough for a majority of population.
I remember when we first got these results, and basically my job was like, okay, take the report of the clinical study, which is like very technical, and like translate this into something that like normal people will understand. And then I was looking at the results. It was like, okay, well, what do we do? Like, can we really take something from each product that we tested and like really emphasize and like say, okay, why this is better? And like, I remember having a really tough job, basically like extracting something from the 10 grams because like there was not something that was like really showing in the clinical study that they're so superior to like the 5 grams.
Right.
And really this speed that we were talking about was like the only thing that like, if you have a wedding, go for 10 grams, like it's gonna like smoothing your wrinkles a little bit faster than the 5 gram. But for something that you want to use as a long-term solution, and which we believe that you should, right? So like basically this is something that you take for the long term, 5 grams or something that is really like a very well-rounded product will do a way better job for the long term.
This conversation actually reminds me about the second opinion that I had to rethink.
Thank you for keeping on track. I already forgot about the first question, so great.
Yeah, actually, I made my job harder than it needed to be because I wanted to put more ingredients in one product together. Again, we have this philosophy of more is better. Only in this case, it's not a single ingredient, but multiple ingredients.
Like combining MSM and with collagen and stuff like
MSM, collagen, like lots of botanical extracts, all the vitamins, all the minerals, and all of that. In this way, the formulation becomes very complex, and it's not easy on the stability of the product, on the price. It has nothing added in efficacy. So this is another opinion that I've changed, not exactly in the last year, but maybe in the past 2 or 3 years. And again, I'm still seeing companies that come to our company and they want to have product that is like super packed with all of the ingredients.
Yeah, give me like basically one for all solution, like get all your vitamins, like, or like all that you need, like in your morning drink or something like that. Yeah. And you changed this opinion, you're saying. So if I imagine, it's probably something, okay, this is a product that's way more directed, way more like focused on something, on a problem. Or
and it's also about the simplicity of the message, I think. And like I said, price wise is better to have more simple product, taste wise, stability wise. There's so many pluses. It doesn't overweigh that the thing that some brands want, so having a lot of ingredients in one.
So if I understand, like you started to think a bit in a way. So, okay, for skin, let's take collagen and let's make the best possible product out of it, like something very simple and something that will be, that will bring results. Because like, as you said, like not the big specs, not the combination, like probably there is this one ingredient that does like 90% of the job. And then maybe look for like other applications with, like, for instance, MSM could be good for something else, and just like do a product around MSM, but not trying to necessarily put together too many things in the same formulation.
Correct. I think that a simple recipe is a win in the long term. Also, besides the things that I've said earlier, like taste, price, all of that, a regulatory part is quite important, because adding complexity on your product can make it harder to market in some countries, and you have this marketing strategy set, and then you trying to sell your product in some country, and the inspector said this ingredient is not allowed. So it's much easier to have this covered with simple recipe, because the legislation is not harmonized.
Yeah, like this is especially the problem in the EU, I guess, and like this
correct.
regulatory part, I already can promise, like, to the listeners, like we'll touch on that like quite heavily in the in the future episodes. Like maybe let's not get like too deep in this one here, so we don't bore them like with all the rules and stuff. But maybe with this idea of yours, like simpler, more focused products, trying to not like put too many things in the same thing, I think here I can kind of do a little bit of a segue to my second like idea, or like what I've learned is that I believe that there is still a big opportunity here in general in the nutricosmetic industry, because sometimes I think we get a little bit of this idea that like the market is super saturated. There's so many brands, and like so many people doing this and like selling this kind of products. But I was thinking the other day, and I really realized like we just live in a bubble because we talk to the same people. We are like talking to our colleagues and everything, and we just talk about this the whole day. And like, okay, yeah, like of course we live in a Nutricosmetic world, but like in fact, then you go around and you just go like and ask people, do you take supplements? Do you know what collagen is? Like a lot of people will not know, and this means that I believe there's like an immense opportunity still out there, because like you have to ask your, I don't know, your mom if she knows like about those products. She probably doesn't. So there are a lot of people.
My mom knows about collagen.
I mean mine too. So but in general, I think there's really really still a lot of space on the market. And like what tells me that, like, at least here in Europe, but also in the US, there are not those big market leaders established. You know, there is not like, for instance, like there are local successes. Like you have like in different countries, you have like local brands that are very successful, but there is not like one big household name, you know, that like really would be an international brand that would really take a big part of the market. And with this idea of yours, like to have different kind of products, not trying to put everything in the same thing, I think this is maybe the way also for brands to try to differentiate, not on like the specs that we were talking about, but like more on the focus of the product, what it does, and like what result does it bring. Like maybe something that like really talks or like addresses like one tiny problem. I know that we in Tosla maybe we're still not like really allowed to talk about, but like you are developing some products going outside of like the initial like skincare focus and stuff. But I believe that like, yeah, we live a little bit in a bubble, and because we got this feeling like everyone is doing this, but it's not true.
You're correct, but I think that especially collagen has not reached its potential yet, because there's this thing about collagen that I was thinking about. For example, you have collagen naturally in your body. It's a naturally occurring substance in mammals. And it's also a substance that you can take to replenish the collagen that you've lost through the years. So there's this notion of familiarity. I think that somebody who has some basic knowledge about biology has at least already heard about collagen. So it's much easier to explain this ingredient than, for example, ashwagandha or some other substance that you don't naturally like contain in your body.
Yeah, I mean, collagen for sure, it's like closer to home than like all the, let's say, like more exotic like things. I mean, effective nonetheless, but yeah, it's something that is very close to home. Very like we have it in creams for a very long time, but still, we're definitely not there yet. With the Nutricosmetic approach, and yes, maybe a little bit of a bubble that we live in, and we think everyone knows it, but
not yet. But I think that we will be able to see. Perhaps I'm biased because I live in a bubble, but I think that collagen will become very popular in the future because there are benefits that go beyond Nutricosmetic, like joint health, heart health, digestive health, and all of that. And we have this aging population, which is becoming a huge problem, and all of them can potentially become happy users.
Yeah.
So, but maybe let's touch more on that.
Yeah, I would definitely like to talk about this more, but like maybe let's I just like learned a new fact that like maybe collagen, or not like a fact, but like something like that, maybe collagen has the potential to become the next flower in every household. Plus, I think I got a great title for this first episode. If you agree, I would call it "We All Live in a Collagen Bubble."
Great, I like it.
Great. Thank you, everyone, for listening in to this first episode of Nutricosmetics 2030 show. We'll see you again in 2 weeks for the second episode. In the meantime, you share, you like, you talk to your friends, your grandmas, and everyone you know about the show, so they can learn about the great topic that Nutricosmetic is. And thank you, Uroš, and see you in the next one.
Great.